How's it going, guys? And welcome back to the 8th installment of Showcase Saturdays. Today I'm going to be showing you guys something a little bit different. For those of you who follow me on Instagram and Flickr, you would have seen yesterday, or you may not have seen it, but if you haven't, go check it out. I posted a picture titled Aliens, which is inspired by the 1986 film of the same name. And it featured something a little different for me. Normally I just post one figure at a time, but this is actually two figures in one post, both an alien warrior as well as a Colonial Marine, more specifically Colonial Marine Hicks. So for those of you who know the movie pretty well, you'll obviously know who he is. But today I'm going to be showing you both them as well as the Facehugger that I painted up. All of the sculpts are by G-Bricks. He did a fantastic job on all of them, and it was super cool painting them up, and I'm really proud of how they turned out, and I'm really excited to show you guys some of the cool, functionality in the figures. So let's get to the showcase. Alright, so here we have my Aliens 1986, group shot, I guess. I don't know, this is a bit more along the lines of what most other YouTubers do with their showcases, like Michael MGF, where they show off a bunch of figures. So this is something a little bit different for me. This is probably going to be a bit of a longer video, so just bear with me here, please. Okay, so let's start. Here you can see all the figures together. So I'm going to just look at them one by one like I normally would, and then explain some of the details that went into the figures. So let's start off with the most simple of the three, and let's chat about the Facehugger. So as you can see, it's an incredibly detailed sculpt by Richard over at G-Bricks, which actually comes as 9 separate pieces. The legs are on separate sprues, which you just need to clip off and then glue onto the little holes that are there, or dimples rather, they're not quite holes. And then I just painted that up with some Citadel paints. Pretty happy with how this turned out. It would have been cool if there was like 2 tail options or whatever, where you could have one tail that would like fit around a minifigure's neck, as if it's like implanting an alien into, a human body or whatever. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. I am aware that you can put it in a minifigure's hand, which I will do to demonstrate. So it's not quite like a snug fit, but I suppose you could use it to set up a scene where, they like grab it by the tail or whatever, and they're like fending it off like, don't implant an alien in my face or whatever. So, you can do that if you want. But that's a really cool addition to the set. That came with the Colonial Marine set, as far as I'm aware. The Alien is a slightly older set, but I've been waiting for Richard to release something else. I figured because he's a bit of an Alien vs Predator, or Aliens and Predator nut, he would eventually release a Colonial Marine or a Predator, and kind of waited for one of those so I could do a group display, if that makes sense. So here is my Colonial Marine minifigure. It is based off of Hicks from the Aliens movie. As you can see, it comes packed with accessories. All I did here was I added this brick arms M418 pulse rifle, which Richard very generously gave me. So thanks a bunch, man. Really appreciate it. And then it also comes with the back-mounted light, and obviously the legs, the gloves, the armor, and the helmet. Then all I added to this was the tiny tactical headset, just so you could have that microphone, because in the film Hicks actually has a sort of a headset, but it's not quite a modern day headset, but I didn't really have anything to substitute for it, so this worked for me. Hopefully you guys feel the same. And then I obviously painted it up. It was an absolute pleasure to paint up. Camo has historically been something that I've sort of struggled with. I've had some figures, like some of you may remember the World War II SAS Commando figure that I did, and like the camo was alright, but I was unhappy with it because it sort of fades into the figure. I'm not sure what I did there. It was quite a while ago, but I don't know, it's not very visible camo, if that makes sense. Like, you can't visibly see the differences in the color. So I'm really happy with how this figure turned out, because not only do I personally feel it's an accurate representation of how the camo on the Colonial Marine uniform looks, but I think it turned out really great in that you can actually see the different colors, you know, in his helmet and his chest armor. You can see the different shades of green and the brown and the white, and on his pants you can see the different shades of yellow and the gray and the white as well. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. Then I added some of the smaller details that appears on Hick's armor. You might not remember it. It may have been a while since you saw the movie. I know it's been a while since I saw it, but he has a heart on his armor, which I tried to paint, as well as Hick's just above that, just below the neckline. I did paint that as well. I'm not sure if you can really see it here. It's A, quite small, and B, the camera is a bit far away. I can't really get it that much closer because of the zoom, but you might be able to see it on my Flickr picture, so go and check that out, please, if you don't mind. And then also on the back, he has like a Chinese symbol. I'm not sure what it means. He also has Lifer written below that on his armor, as far as I'm aware. This was from the reference pictures I found. It was, I think, of a custom 6th scale figure that someone made. So I try to paint those on as well. As you can see, they're over there. They're pretty small, but I try to, you know, fit them in. Then something a bit different is I actually magnetized this rear light. So I drilled a hole into the back of his armor, and then I drilled into the bottom of it, and you can see the magnet there, so that, you know, you can just remove it without damaging the paint or having a spot where there was no paint or whatever. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this figure turned out. This is possibly one of the best camouflage figures I've ever painted. I'm really happy with it, and I hope you guys like it. So moving on to the final figure in this set is the Alien Warrior, which is also by G-Bricks. It's a slightly older set, but it's a really cool one. Richard managed to pack tons of details into this, as you can see. I mean, it's incredibly accurate, and it's quite a big figure. I mean, comparative to the Colonial Marine, which is already a bit bigger than a normal figure because of his helmet and armor and everything else. So the scaling is fantastic, and I think Richard absolutely nailed all of these pieces. So this was pretty much a standard paint job. I sprayed it black, and then gave it a gray dry brush, silver dry brush, and that was pretty much it for most of the figure. The aliens have a pretty simple color scheme as far as goes. Most of the time on this group was spent on the Colonial Marine, not the alien. The alien was pretty quick to finish, just due to the nature of the aliens. But to add in some extra details, I actually found something in a painting tutorial book, which is by, I think, Angel Giraldes, I'm not quite sure how you say his name, but in his book he has a tutorial on how to add like spit effects for, like, you know, little, I don't know, goblets or whatever of spit dripping out of like this insect thing's mouth, which is something I really wanted to try on this figure because, you know, it's the alien, and in all the pictures, you know, where the mini jaw is shooting out or whatever, there's always like strands of spit and saliva like hanging off of it, and obviously this sculpt doesn't have the miniature jaw sticking out, but I sort of wanted to try and incorporate that just on his jaw. I'm not quite sure if you can see it. You might be able to see it from the side there, but that was done using something that is called Bostik. Let me just grab it and you guys can see. It's just like a general adhesive kind of thing, you know, like project glue or whatever, that when you pull it, it becomes very strand-like. So I used that and then just added that onto the face, and yeah, that's pretty much it with this figure. And then I also magnetized the tail so that I can remove it, because the display cabinets I use don't have a lot of space behind the minifigure, so I wanted to be able to store the alien without breaking the tail off. Unfortunately, the mag's not that strong, so you can't really like spin it around. It pretty much just falls off. But I wanted to use the magnet instead of a ball joint system because, you know, it would look a bit funny if it just... Damn, sorry about that. It would look a bit funny if, you know, it stood to the side like that in the cabinet. So I figured I can just take it off for display and then put it on when, you know, I want to take it out. Thank you guys very much for watching this showcase. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was an absolute blast to paint these figures up, and it was pretty cool to be able to, you know, post a group showcase as well as a group shot on Flickr and Instagram, obviously. You know, it's something a bit different for me, but it was really cool. Let me know what you guys think about the figures, and let me know if this is, you know, a sort of thing you want to do. Obviously, my last showcase was of Boba Fett and Ghost from Modern Warfare 2, the prototype Boba Fett, sorry. So let me know if you guys are more interested in the, you know, the group showcases instead of singular showcases every week, or what your preference is, because, you know, I'm pretty flexible. I'm happy to change it up if that's what you guys are looking for. So let me know in the comments. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button on the bottom right if you're interested, and tune in next week for another episode. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.